Good morning, children. Today we will study the chlorine, preparation and properties of chlorine, and then the HCl gas. That is the part of the 17th group. So the chlorine can be prepared by the different method, and the chlorine is the main component of some compound like potassium chloride, and then calcium chloride, silver chloride. So chlorine exists in the different form, in the form of the compounds like the sodium chloride, potassium chloride, calcium chloride, etc. Because it is a very reactive non-metal, so it exists in the combined form. So first we will study the preparation of chlorine, first from manganese dioxide, which is also called as pyrolusite. This is pyrolusite ore. So chlorine can be prepared by the reaction of manganese dioxide with HCl. So manganese dioxide, when reacted with HCl, then it forms manganese chloride, H2O, and chlorine gas. So here we take the concentrated hydrochloric acid. So the chlorine can be prepared by heating concentrated hydrochloric acid with the manganese dioxide. Sometimes we use some oxidizing catalyst also here, and many other compounds which are having the potassium permanganate, then potassium dichromate, then lead dioxide. They can, when they are reacted with the HCl, they form the chlorine gas. So there are the different methods for the preparation of chlorine. The second form, potassium permanganate, when it is treated with HCl, then it is converted into potassium chloride, manganese chloride, water, and chlorine gas. In another method, in the laboratory we can prepare the chlorine gas by heating sodium chloride, manganese dioxide with H2 concentrated sulfuric acid. So when sodium chloride and manganese dioxide and sulfuric acid are heated, then it is converted manganese chloride, sodium bisulfate, water, and chlorine gas. So in the laboratory, the chlorine gas is prepared by this method. So these are the general methods of preparation of the chlorine. Then we have to study the manufacture, that is the industrial method, which are required to prepare the chlorine gas. So first is the Dakens process. It is called as Dakens process. In this process, hydrogen chloride gas is oxidized by atmospheric oxygen, then it is converted into chlorine gas and water. In the Dakens process, there is the oxidation of hydrogen chloride gas, HCl, when react with the oxygen that is present in the presence of copper chloride. In the presence of copper chloride, then it is converted into water and chlorine gas. So that is the industrial process, or the chlorine can be manufactured by this process. There is one more process, that is the electrolytic method. In the electrolytic method, when we pass electricity through the concentrated solution of NaCl, we have to take a concentrated solution of NaCl, then it is having the sodium ion and chloride ion in the solution. Now these chloride ion will go towards anode. At anode, when we do the electrolysis of this solution, then chloride ion will go towards anode, and there they will be discharged and converted into chlorine gas. So when a solution of sodium chloride is electrolyzed, then the chlorine gas is formed. This is also the method of preparation of sodium hydroxide, because sodium chloride in water will be there, so it is having sodium ion, chloride ion, and water has H plus ion and OH minus ion. So these ions are present. So at cathode, the hydrogen gas will be released. At cathode, hydrogen H plus 2H plus ion will gain 2 electron, will convert into hydrogen. So at anode, the chlorine gas will be formed. At cathode, the hydrogen gas will be formed, and that is the basis for the preparation of the chlorine gas. So chlorine gas can be prepared by the electrolysis of concentrated solution of sodium chloride. So that is also industrial process. So in this process we can prepare the chlorine gas by passing electricity through the concentrated solution of sodium chloride. So these are the different methods by which we can prepare the chlorine gas. Now we will study the physical properties of the chlorine gas. So for the physical properties, the chlorine gas is greenish yellow gas. So for the physical properties, the chlorine gas is greenish yellow. And it is having a suffocating smell. It is a greenish yellow gas with the pungent and suffocating smell, and then it is heavier than air and it is soluble in water. So chlorine is heavier than air and it is poisonous in nature. Then it can be easily liquefied by cooling under pressure. So this is the physical properties. I am repeating. The color of the chlorine gas is greenish yellow color. Then it is having a very pungent suffocating smell. So when we inhale, then the throat will be choked. And then it is heavier than air. And then it is a poisonous gas. And next, when it is fairly soluble in water. So when we inhale it in the large quantity, then we will feel the headache. So these are the physical properties of the chlorine gas. Now chemical properties. For the chemical properties of chlorine, we can divide into different parts, because chlorine reacts with the metal as well as non-metal also. Now the first reaction is with the metals. So many metals react with the chlorine. Near about all the metals react with the chlorine and form their corresponding chloride. So this is the reaction with the sodium metal. Sodium metal reacts with chlorine to form sodium chloride. Aluminium reacts with chlorine to form aluminium chloride. Iron reacts with chlorine to ferric chloride. And similarly, the magnesium reacts with the magnesium chloride to form magnesium reacts with the chlorine to form magnesium chloride. Copper reacts with the chlorine to form copper chloride. So all the metals react with the chlorine to form their corresponding chlorides. Now for the non-metals. All the non-metals react with the chlorine. So these are some examples you can say. When hydrogen combines with chlorine, it forms hydrochloric acid or hydrogen chloride gas. When it reacts with the phosphorus, then it forms the PCl3. When we take chlorine in excess, then it forms PCl5 also. So the phosphorus, when heated with the chlorine, then it forms phosphorus trichloride. And then when it reacts with the sulfur, then it forms sulfur monochloride, that is S2Cl2. So this is the reaction with the non-metal. So when the chlorine reacts with the non-metal like phosphorus, sulfur, hydrogen, then it forms their corresponding chlorides. Now chlorine gas has affinity towards the hydrogen. So any compounds which contain hydrogen, they react with the chlorine, and then the chlorine absorbs hydrogen, or chlorine combines with the hydrogen and the other element will be replaced. So the chlorine gas has affinity towards hydrogen. So you can see here when the chlorine reacts with the H2S, it combines with the hydrogen, form HCl and sulfur will be removed. In many other compounds which contain hydrogen, the chlorine combines with the hydrogen to form the HCl, and the metal or the non-metal will be replaced from there. So in this way, in this reaction, this is for turpentine. Turpentine reacts with chlorine, the carbon will be separated from here, and then there is the formation of HCl. So in this way we can show the affinity toward the hydrogen. So chlorine has affinity toward the hydrogen, and it removes hydrogen from the compounds and to form HCl. Now the next reaction with the ammonia. Chlorine reacts with the ammonia in the two ways. That means with the when we take the chlorine in excess, and second when the ammonia is taken in excess. So in the first case, when chlorine reacts with ammonia and chlorine is taken in excess, then it forms NCl3, that nitrogen trichloride and HCl, and that is explosive also. Nitrogen trichloride is explosive in nature. So when ammonia reacts with chlorine and chlorine is taken in excess, then it forms nitrogen trichloride and HCl. In the second case, we take ammonia in excess, and when ammonia is taken in excess, then it combines with the chlorine to form ammonium chloride and nitrogen. Then there is the formation of the nitrogen. So in these two ways, the chlorine reacts with the ammonia. Either there is the formation of NCl3 when we take chlorine in excess, when we take ammonia in excess, then there is the formation of ammonium chloride. Next is the reaction with sodium hydroxide or with the alkali, you can say. Again, there are in two ways it reacts. First, when we take the cold and dilute alkali. When we take cold and dilute alkali and we pass chlorine gas through it, then we form sodium chloride, sodium hypochlorite and the water. So when chlorine react with the dilute sodium hydroxide in cold and dilute, then it forms sodium chloride and sodium hypochlorite. So you will get here the sodium hypochlorite. So when sodium hydroxide is cold and dilute, then you have sodium hypochlorite. And the next case in which we take the sodium hydroxide concentrated and hot. When it is concentrated and hot, then it forms sodium chloride, sodium chlorate and water. So when it is taken as concentrated, hot concentrated, then it is converted into sodium chloride. This reaction is very important. Many times it is asked in the examination. When chlorine reacts with sodium hydroxide in hot and concentrated, then it forms sodium chloride, sodium chlorate and water. Now there is one more, the reaction with the solid slag lime. That means the reaction with the calcium hydroxide. When chlorine gas passed over solid slag lime, then it is converted into bleaching powders and calcium chloride is also formed with the water. So when chlorine is passed over solid slag lime, then it forms bleaching powder, calcium chloride and water. Now the seventh property is the bleaching powder, bleaching property. The chlorine is soluble in water. When it dissolves in water, it forms hydrochloric acid and sodium and hypochloric acid, hypochlorous acid here. So chlorine dissolves in water from hydrochloric acid or hypochlorous acid. Now this hypochlorous acid is unstable and it breaks down into HCl and nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen is responsible for the bleaching property of the chlorine and its oxidizing property. So therefore the bleaching property, when the color substance come in contact with the chlorine with water, then nascent oxygen will be formed here. This nascent oxygen oxidizes the colored substance and the substance becomes colorless. And due to this property, now this bleaching is permanent bleaching. In sulfur dioxide, we will study the bleaching property of sulfur dioxide, but that is temporary. That is due to the reduction. But now here is due to the oxidation of the colored substance, and that's why this bleaching is permanent. I am repeating, chlorine is soluble in water, it dissolves in water to form HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, and hypochlorous acid. This hypochlorous acid breaks down into HCl and nascent oxygen. This nascent oxygen is responsible for the oxidizing as well as bleaching property of the chlorine. Now this nascent oxygen combined with the colored substance present in the plant or any other substance, then it will be oxidized and the substance will become colorless due to oxidation of the coloring material. So coloring material will be oxidized and it will become colorless. Now same oxygen is responsible for the oxidizing property of the chlorine. Chlorine oxidizes ferrous into ferric, sulfite into sulfate, sulfur dioxide into sulfuric acid, iodine into iodic acid. So many other oxidizing properties are there. So first, when chlorine reacts with the ferrous sulfate, then ferrous sulfate will be oxidized to ferric sulfate. So there is a reaction with the ferrous sulfate, sulfuric acid and chlorine. So then there is a formation of ferric sulfate and HCl. Second is when sodium sulfite react with chlorine in the presence of water, that means we need solution here. So then the sodium sulfite will be oxidized to sodium sulfate and HCl will form. You already know about the affinity toward the hydrogen. Sulfur dioxide when react with the chlorine and water, then the sulfur dioxide will be oxidized to sulfuric acid plus hydrochloric acid. When iodine reacts with the chlorine water, then it is converted into hydroiodic acid and then HCl. So these are the oxidizing property of the chlorine. Now the uses of chlorine. So very important use of chlorine for the preparation of the bleaching powder. It is used in the many chemical reaction, organic reaction. Chlorine is used, and then it is used for the sanitizing drinking water, and then in the extraction of gold and platinum. So these are the uses of the chlorine. It is also used in the manufacture of dyes. It is used in the manufacture of the bleaching powder and some other compounds. Many organic compounds can be prepared. You know about the dichloromethane, trichlorochloroform. They are prepared by the chlorine gas. So these are the uses of chlorine gas. Now we study the hydrogen chloride, and that you know the formula for hydrogen chloride HCl, that is also called as hydrochloric acid. So first we need the preparation for the hydrochloric acid. Hydrochloric acid is prepared by the reaction of sodium chloride with concentrated H2SO4. So when sodium chloride reacts with concentrated H2SO4, then it is converted into sodium bisulfate and HCl gas. That will do the test for the chloride. So when the sodium chloride H2SO4, then sodium bisulfate plus hydrochloric gas will form. Again the sodium bisulfate react with the sodium chloride to form sodium sulfate and HCl gas. Actually the HCl is a gas, but it is highly soluble in water. That's why solution is called as hydrochloric acid. So for the preparation of hydrogen chloride, sodium chloride react with concentrated sulfuric acid, then it forms HCl gas. The second we can write with the ammonium chloride. When ammonium chloride reacts with concentrated sulfuric acid, then it forms ammonium sulfate and HCl gas. So this is the second preparation, or any chloride will be taken place, ammonium chloride, maybe calcium chloride or barium chloride, whatever chloride you are taking, and when we are doing the reaction with concentrated sulfuric acid, then there is the formation of HCl gas. So we can take either of the chloride to prepare the HCl gas. This is one of the method. And then next method you study in the chlorine. When chlorine and hydrogen react with each other, then they form HCl, H2 plus Cl2 form 2HCl. Then we will study the properties of the HCl gas. Now first for the physical property, it is a colorless gas with the pungent smell, and it is extremely soluble in water, or you can say it is highly soluble in water, and its solution in water is called as hydrochloric acid. So in the physical property we can write it is a colorless gas with a pungent smell, and then where it is highly soluble in water and its solution is water is called as hydrochloric acid. Many reactions of hydrochloric acid you have studied in 10th class also. That is when the metals which are electropositive in nature, when they react with the HCl, they form hydrogen gas. So you can write many reactions with the aluminium, with the sodium, with the magnesium, calcium, iron. When they react with the HCl, they form their corresponding halide with the release of hydrogen gas. But here we write only some important reactions. Because it is an acid, HCl is an acid, it reacts with the ammonia, which is a base. So when it reacts with the ammonia, it forms ammonium chloride. So this is the neutralization reaction. You can write with the ammonia, when react with HCl, it forms ammonium chloride. You can also react with ammonium hydroxide plus HCl, then it forms ammonium chloride plus water. Again, it will be the neutralization reaction. Ammonia is a base, ammonium hydroxide is also base. So that is the property of HCl. Now the second property, it decomposes all the carbonates and metal bicarbonates. So metal carbonates and bicarbonate decomposed by HCl to form their salt, water and carbon dioxide. So we can write with the sodium chloride, the sodium carbonate, you can write with the calcium carbonate in the similar way, plus 2HCl. Then it forms calcium chloride, CaCl2 plus CO2 plus H2O. So any metal carbonate when react with the HCl, then it forms corresponding salt, that chloride, carbon dioxide and water. That is the test for the carbonate ion. So when we add acid to it, then the hydrochloric acid will decompose carbonate into carbon dioxide and water. Now the next is in a similar way with the sulfides. When sulfides are treated with hydrochloric acid, then they form sodium chloride, sulfur dioxide and water. And then next property is with aqua regia. The one part of nitric acid and 3 parts of HCl, when they are mixed, they form aqua regia. And this aqua regia can dissolve the noble metals like gold and platinum. So to dissolve noble metals, we prepare aqua regia, and this aqua regia is 1 part of concentrated nitric acid and 3 part of concentrated HCl, then they form nitrosyl chloride, and that react with the gold to form gold chloride, that is a complex compound, and the gold will dissolve into it. So the gold plus acid plus nitrate in the chloride ion is there, because we are using HCl nitrate from the nitric acid, then it is converted into a complex ion and nitric oxide will be formed. See, platinum also dissolve in the aqua regia to form hexafluoroplatinate 2. So in this way they are forming the different compound, and platinum will dissolve into the solution. And in the properties, the hydrochloric acid is used in the laboratory and then it is used for the preparation of this chlorine gas, and then it is used for the many neutralization reactions. So very important reagent in the laboratory also. And then you know the aqua regia we are studying here. The aqua regia is used to dissolve some noble gases.